Hello, everyone.
Welcome back to the afternoon section of the HECC Live Podcast.
HECC 2025 is here. I'm so excited.
It's a really quick day today, to be honest. But I've jumped in and out of several sessions, some great sessions. And it looks like the other sessions are standing room only.
I know. I signed up for one and couldn't get into it, so I got the Bitly, and I can't wait to explore.
10 out of 10. No notes on the calendar. Such a great tool. Such a great tool.
Well, we're excited to be back this afternoon. We have Megan Tola with us from Magic School. She agreed to come on and chat with us. We have a few questions to kind of fire at her and talk about Magic School, AI and education, all of the things. There's just a lot, isn't there?
So much. And it's changing so fast. So we're just doing
Almost
this again.
every day. Like,
I think it's what makes it hard for some people. Like, sometimes change is hard for people, and teachers get really comfortable, and that discomfort, like, it's hard for them to be uncomfortable, and they just want to know how to do it, but then it's different. And it's so exciting. I think it's exciting.
and I think that's a very key point with the AI is you don't have to be a master of all.
Absolutely.
Right? Like you need to ease into it, trying to look at different little pieces. There's all kinds of little components. And I think Magic School brings a great system for that. With it broken down into different tools, you have different tiles that are on there. And I think that's why you see some education leaders leaning towards the product. So definitely. On a big picture, AI is becoming a game changer as we just discussed, right? In education and in workforce, you talk to people as vendors. I'm on my end, everything from our Cisco cloud to everything is getting that AI component. So how do we envision the look of Magic School, AI-assisted teaching, helping teachers in Indiana? How is it going to help teachers?
I think it's already there. So fun fact, about 50% of the students in Indiana have access to Magic School through enterprise partnerships. So just as a student, which is awesome. But for teachers, I think it gives a really bite-sized way for us to take that baby step, right? Baby steps are still steps. And so Magic School makes AI feel approachable. I think of it as AI with training wheels, right? Because when I open up a chat bot, whatever program it is, it's like this blank screen and I'm like, how do I ask it? And so then for teachers who's a little nervous or hesitant, like, I can make a rubric, or I can respond to that email accordingly. And so because it says like what grade level, what's your learning goal, it talks teacher talk, and that feels safe and comfortable. They put in their answers, and they're like, this is great. Right? So there's that scaffolding that we do for students that Magic School does for teachers.
It's a lot of stuff that we've already known. We've been doing it for years, but a lot of it we've been doing manually. Right? We may take a book and try to take it down a grade level, or find a book that's similar that's down a grade level. Now we can have the Magic School do it, right?
And I think that leads right into the next question we had, which was about like the practical ways that Magic School can lighten that load for educators. What tools do you think are the most beneficial?
It's so hard. There's over 80, so it's hard to choose, and it probably depends on my day. But I like to think of it when we talk about AI, it's really like, what's the instructional goal? Am I trying to differentiate? Am I trying to, be more creative with my assessment, or am I really just trying to get my time back? Am I just trying to be efficient? So starting there. So my favorite efficiency goals would be the report card comments, the email responder, the letter of recommendation as a secondary teacher is a game changer. But just even having the awareness of like taking my students involved, like those kinds of efficiencies are my favorite. The create email board, alternative assessments. There's a make it relevant option that
one is the one to me because so many kids today, like I feel like our students today in our classrooms, it's not that compliance based. Like the teacher says, I need to do this, so I'm going to learn it. They
I know what I just did there.
But it's like they want to know why am I learning this? How is it going to apply to me in the future? And so the make it relevant, that's one of the tools I've tried to get into a lot.
And add into that, I know in our district we're starting to really get into some of the custom tools, where we're building out tools and sharing them from one teacher to the next that are really defined to what we want to get feedback for our students based off of our English standards and lessons, which is really starting to become fun. You're starting to get some of those stories of the time savings, and I'm sure that you have some fantastic stories. Do you have any good stories that you can tell us about?
Yes,
Where teachers are?
yesterday I was able to work with teachers up in Michigan. But these folks had never used AI before, like a tool for teaching. They used it, it wasn't for their work. And she was talking about how she does these differentiable mini lessons and creates scenarios. And then she started crying. She shared that. She's like, I think I just got my Sunday back. And I was like, you did, girl, you did. You know, so just like those moments where they say, oh my gosh, I've been doing all this, I can't. And that's, I mean, as educators, we know this. Like, teachers pour their heart and soul into their work, and they're doing a lot manually that now AI can help us be more efficient.
Yeah, it's one of those first things I've seen in, years of education that we can start really powering into the data quickly. Right? And we've always poured over data, and we've spent summers at PD over data, and PDs during the week over data, but now it's almost in real time when you have the AI involved with the data, which is just fantastic.
And every single time teacher comes to PD, they come back to school, we never greet them with, hey, we're going to take something off of your plate. Every year, there's something else. There's this. And this is a tool that I feel confident bringing to them because I am able to talk about efficiency and personalization and things that are going to be able to be done much more quickly.
Well, I think it's going to be amazing over the next year. I had no idea that you guys would that roll out in Indiana. You have 50% of the students. What is it going to be coming that we're sharing inside of our district? But now me and Diana, we share across our districts. How fast is going to grow? Because if I know anything about educators, when you raise the bar, they find a way to jump it, and they just keep growing.
Well, and I think that's Indiana special too, because we have those connected communities of educators. That if my friends in Richmond are doing something, they're going to share it with me. I'm going to share what I'm doing with them. Same thing, practicing more. So, what power in our district's hands?
We actually were just talking about this the other day. How do we leverage that? Because Indiana, I get to work in other states now. And so I always knew Indiana was special, but Indiana is special because it's so funded. Like organizations like HECC, Indiana Connected Educators, like we have spaces for people to share. And so like even today, Carissa shared an entire set of pre-made Indiana tools. Like, hey, here's a whole bunch of training rooms aligned to that learner rank. Here's an SAT prep room. Like, they're already built. And so now you got to take them and tweak them, right? Context is still important. Your learners are still important, but
here's hundreds of hours of my work for free.
And then just the small tweaks to personalize it for your demographic. That's so powerful.
And the Learning Lab, we're really supporting Magic School as well. There's a lot of content on our Learning Lab, which is a great resource if you're just starting out with AI or anything in Indiana. If you're in the classroom and you haven't been on the Learning Lab yet, it is time. It is here. It is fantastic.
oh, yeah.
Now, educators are notorious sometimes for being slow to change. Maybe, like, what I get is a lot of, like, misconceptions. So, what do you think are some of the biggest myths or misconceptions surrounding AI in education that we still have to tackle?
I still think there's a misconception that students are just going to use it to cheat. And we're getting there. We're making progress, showing teachers how, like, that there is a tool that's safe and secure, and it's not going to let them do that. And just like, the teachers that have the platform scaffolds it for them, how can we help build these skills in our students? Because maybe we don't want them to go straight out to any open tool and whatever it will write it for them, right? So showing them, like, hey, no, we don't have to write it for you, but ask it for help with your outline. Ask it for you're struggling with transition sentences, or here's my math problem that I can take a shrub, load it into the platforms, Magic School, and it'll say, hey, you did this step and this step right, but it looks like you made a mistake on step 3. Consider, how you balance that equation. So instead of just doing work, that's probably the biggest misconception still that I'm seeing.
Right. And going in on the coaching model, right? Use the AI as the coach. Use the AI, not the person to complete the work, right?
Yeah, and if we're using it as partners as educators, because we're not dependent on it, and how do we help get our students there? They're not going to know that right away. And as humans, we're always going to take the path of least resistance.
Absolutely.
So, like, I'm mad at the kids about that. Like, oh, I probably do it too. I was there. So, like,
It's the same thing that when we first gave them computers, they had Google at their disposal. I mean, the statistics always show that if a student cheat, they're going to cheat. It doesn't matter how. So we just have to have the tools involved. We have to look, right?
we don't love YouTube anymore.
Right.
So,
Absolutely. Calculators in math class, all kinds of things.
you're never going to have one in your pocket, right? That was my teacher. Oh, my teacher. Well, what would they do? I do there's a quote from a book called One Leadership that I really like, and it says, be humble because you're going to disrupt the lives of others. And even if that's a big ask, or even if that's a good thing, it's still a really big ask. And I think that as we think about this as leaders across the state, it's like we're still going to be disruptive, and that's okay. But to remember that it's still big for a lot of folks. And so I think if we start with that heart, that intention, then we'll be all right.
You talk about Magic School being AI with some training wheels. Talk about some of the safety procedures that you guys have put in place as of late for students.
Be real nerdy. So we just put out a white paper called AI Safety for Students, and so we're talking about what we're doing on the back end in terms of guardrails, how our engineering team those prompts get looked at, and then there's an AI component, the AI, and then there's a human component, so our evaluation process. So our engineering team is evaluating outputs on different models, and so we run a variety of large language models, and if one's not doing its job well, then we'll sub that out for another one. So we're constantly on the back end evaluating, hey, we use a variety, maybe OpenAI 5 isn't doing it as well as Claude is today, or this one's taking better directions, and so we're evaluating that on the back. It's probably a little too over my head in some of what we're doing, but that I would direct everyone to that white paper because it's really cool.
I will take that and read that.
It's good. Yeah, it's really good.
So.
I know that educators worry about student data and privacy for the safety. How does Magic School address this concern for users?
Yeah. For data privacy, so I think about it as a layer cake. So we run on a bunch of models, and then there's the Magic School layer, which is that proprietary layer. And so what that is doing is the data will hit a large language model, but we have zero data retention agreements with our providers. So it's not retained at all. It's staying on Magic School layer. None of the data is used to train any large language models. Super secure. Still should not put personally identifiable information into an AI system. It's still technology, so I disclaimer, let's not do that as a practice, but
Magic School's been forming lots of partnerships.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about any of the partnerships in Indiana?
Our biggest partnership is with the service centers, so ESCI, that's the collective, so through Service Centers of Indiana, we have a discount. So any service center school gets 25% off, which is awesome.
You're speaking the language of every tech.
I know, right? So 25% discount for Magic School Enterprise Partnerships. But what I love about that is we also partnered with them as professional development. And our Magic School team is great, but they don't understand context, right? They're going to come in and teach a tool. And what I love about the partnership with the service centers is hey, we're going to help train you up, and then those folks know your school, know your context, know your all of the things. They're going to have help for each other. So we're really trying to work on a partnership that is bigger than just a town. That was really important to us.
That's awesome because, a lot of schools use their service centers for a lot of other PD, and they're people that they trust, people that they know. And when you hear it from people you trust, it's like when you have a silly question to ask, you don't go run and ask a stranger. You go ask one of your friends. Right? You have people waiting, you have to do this, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's great. So teachers are the part of every single classroom. And I think that is, you talked about the human in the loop component. So how does Magic School support teachers without replacing their creativity or their expertise?
I think that's important. I try to. I love at a core that the teachers are object, not the AI is the foundational piece. I don't know if this is completely making me grow like crazy, but when I started at Magic School, 70% of the company were project-based. So it's like platform built for teachers and teachers, and some other really talented engineers. So I think that as our heart, we have a phenomenal leadership team constantly reminds us of that. So like probably every month it's like, hey, don't forget to tell us, or like talk to a partner, go learn what teacher pain points are, get feedback from the field, bring that in. I think that helps us stay grounded in the work that's supposed to work.
And I think something that, like, as a customer, a user, one of the things I like is that supportive community that school builds to connect people, to share resources. I think that's powerful. They're pioneer community.
Shout out to the pioneers. Yeah. If you're not a pioneer, try to get into that. Like, fill out courses, do the market.
Yes.
People are sharing so many cool things. Right? And then, like, talk about the power of more is, oh, I learned this from somebody in Ohio or Iowa. And then people share
those power users, the community ambassadors, and Indiana is so well represented in the ambassador group.
Yeah, I think we have 4 ambassadors.
I think so.
No, maybe 3.5. Flying counts.
Okay.
You heard it here first.
She has the purple backpack, so we'll
So we talk a lot about the discounts. We talk a lot about partnerships. Is there a free model?
Yeah. I love this. So obviously it's freemium, right? We know this in ed tech. It is the model of choice. But the free version is still super helpful. The teacher side is a little more limited, but we have a really strong student. So in the free version, you type your name in. So maybe you get a Beyonce or a Spider-Man, but other than that, like, you can do all those features with your kids. Which, again, as someone who recently switched sides to the desk, I love that we can still create safe, secure spaces, and we're not charging that. So yeah, freemium, and then if your district is purchasing, if you have an individual teacher license.
There's a lot of options out there, whether your district can go with it or not.
Right.
You'll be able to be supported. So.
Absolutely. So we've talked AI is changing so rapidly, but let's just ponder for a moment. In 5 years, what do you hope the relationship between the AI tools and classroom instruction looks like? Maybe here in
What do I really want?
Okay.
Okay. I really want us to start creating spaces for kids to be creative. And I think there's a new AI literacy framework, and I'm not sure the name. I email me. I'll find it in the but it had like AI was like just understanding it, like using it as a partner, but then also like being interested in the video exciting and having to create AI, because I think that is really our future. And in 5 years, we will look really different. And we're starting that, but we're nowhere close to what students are going to need to do. And to do young, and with your girls, I think that's really how are we going to do this in a really equitable way so that kids from every demographic have experiences creating and using the tools to help them in whatever career field. Like you said earlier, everything.
It's impacting every single career that I can't think of something that's not interacting in some capacity.
In education, sometimes we get really locked down into talking to education people and not other people understanding some of the things that we're growing through. With AI, I can talk to engineers at engineering companies. I can talk to everybody's talking AI. It's buzz across the board.
Well, you get it's interesting. I live in a small town, so some of the realtors, some of the bankers, said, "I need to know more. How do I do this? How do I get started?" And so I think it's really good opportunities because they're being pushed in an industry sometimes there's not a lot of evidence in it, but they're being pushed to explore and deduce and create some connection between education and businesses that need to exist.
It's really going to be interesting. We're really starting to turn out those students that started with the one-to-one initiatives into the workforce. And we go another 10 years here, and we start pushing some of our students that lived and grew up with AI literacy and all these pieces. Where it's really going to take us.
Yeah, where they do.
So imagine school AI were a teacher for a day, kind of were to like random questions. What subject do you think you teach best?
What subject do I want to teach, or what subject do you teach best?
What do you think you teach best?
Probably English. I think my gut reaction is still even large language models is just better with language today. So I think it'd be a really great English teacher. And I think it would be great because we can do so many creative projects. So it doesn't always have to be an essay, right? We don't always have to write a research paper, but maybe I can make a podcast. Maybe I can write a script. Maybe I can take this idea and put it into a different. Yeah, I think that's where I would go. Selfishly, I wanted to teach science, but
Right.
coming on that.
You're fine. I forgot this is your biology background, aren't you? Yeah.
I'm still going to go with technology, right? As a technology teacher, I think AI is going to really revolutionize some of that as it gets in there.
I would probably do a good job at that too.
Yeah.
It's probably going to do a good job at everything.
Yeah,
Right now, it's pretty great. So.
we're going to change it all.
I think that's super exciting and also a little terrifying if I'm really honest with myself. And I mean, selfishly, I think I'm also scared of what if we don't. I'm more scared of what we don't. What if we don't with our kids? I think that's scarier to me than the what if of like I don't know what it's going to look like.
I think that's what I read the book called The Human Future. And it is talking about all those parts and pieces where it's here, it's going to grow. If we don't change, we don't learn it, you're just always going to be in this dissonance with the environment, the world that's around us. And so this is not something that we can take our time exploring. And we've got to jump in and get going to really be equitable for our students.
And also as humans, so many life exist.
Yeah.
I had to use it the other day to figure out what contact with my. I was like, oh, I don't understand this prescription paper, and I have 2 contacts here. And then they say right now.
Have you been in a Tesla yet where you've used Grok?
I have not
So
done
you can
that.
drive down the road talking to the AI now and build a conversation if you're tired. And it talks a full conversation back. So
I haven't done it. I use the app, like I'll talk to AI as I'm like brainstorming ideas or walking or like I just need a thought partner, and I tend to be a verbal processor, so sometimes it is helpful to have a thought partner with unlimited patience. And it's super impressive in everything we say all the time.
Right?
It's so great. Yeah. They tell me I'm great. Good for yourself too.
I had to give mine some more commands, be a little meaner to me.
Yeah. I need some critical feedback here.
Right.
Tell me what I'm
Coming close on time, so we got a few more rapid fire questions. What's one feature teachers tell you they could not live without once they've had magic school?
Oh, the multiple choice quiz is probably one of the most popular because they can just take something, put it into a Google form really quick, or get that quiz out. They can make different versions, they can make accommodations, they can translate it. That one's really the hot heavy hitter. Report card comments also come in clutch. I think every so many weeks, checking out what popped back up to the top. And I used it for a hard conversation with an athlete. Because I knew what I was trying to say and I struggled, and I was like, okay, help me think through how I would word this and say it nicely.
And that's something we didn't even touch on is all the reporting that school has built in for administration to be able to see what tools are being used, what tools we may need more training on, or where the pieces are that we could push into. So.
And the customization you were talking about earlier, Kurt, you can say, oh, our teachers are really loving this tool. Like, okay, how do we give it more knowledge about our district, our students? So they're like, oh, let's take this and kick it up a notch for them and support them with what they're already using in the learning versus like, hey, here's one more thing. Okay, load your curriculum into that, baby.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. What is the most surprising, creative way that you've seen a teacher use Magic School in their classroom?
One of my favorite use cases ever was a CTE teacher, autos. He was an autos teacher, and he had created a custom chatbot for their students, and they presented it to disgruntled customers with a problem with their car. And so then the students had to act as in customer service, but also problem solving means so ask questions, respond back, say, and then the chatbot kept acting as a grumpy customer. And so they were still trying to figure out what was wrong with the car, but also trying to de-escalate from a customer. And I thought that was, I think sometimes we don't always teach tools like, well, there's never use case special, so there's never use case CTE. And I was like, solution.
But then also the skill that it taught.
Yeah.
Like what are the good skills that I mean, as an adult, I still struggle with difficult conversations.
There's a magic school tool for that now, Diana. Difficult conversation tool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I cut you off.
But yes,
And then the use cases there are endless. Like I think about as a teacher, you know, having a conversation with a parent, have the chatbot be a parent. It's a low stakes practice. Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but how many times have you had one of those difficult conversations? You're like, man, I wish I would have been able to do that one more time, different. And that this is giving you that opportunity to have that conversation and then have it begin. Correct?
I think even for teacher education, right, which is where I spent the last 10 years, how do we prep our students for those conversations? You can't. You can't prepare. You give a low stakes way to practice a high stakes conversation. It's not going to be the same, but
Sounds like a new AI tool. Grumpy.
chat with or just
Teacher preparation, the behavior management, classroom management. That is so hard to teach because it's intangible. It's hard to predict. So I really love that. All right.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on, Megan.
for having me. It was great to chat with you guys.
We can chat for a minute. It's always a good day.
100%.
Well, definitely tune in tomorrow morning at 9. We have another exciting guest coming on. We'll be talking a little bit more, I do believe.
Yep.
So we will see you in the morning. It's been a great conference so far. If you missed out today, there's still time. You can come register. Show up down here at the Union Station. It's beautiful out there.
It is. All right. See you tomorrow.